You want to get shredded and you just want to get like all bulked up. It's not the fact that you're like, you want to get shredded and all bulked up. You want the feeling of what that gives you is what it is.
Yeah.
So you are chasing a feeling regardless. Like, I want to stay in top shape because of the feeling that it gives me.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to the scenario where I felt like I'm very metabolically inflexible and not good at all.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, now I feel very metabolically flexible, right? That gives me a certain feeling.
That's right.
And so I'm chasing that feeling every day. There's days for sure I want to work out. There's days also that I don't want to put my kids to bed. But, like, the reality is if I know that imprinting happens, like, it's all the dedication and the consistency. It's the consistency in everything that we do that really compounds.
All right, welcome back to the Full Fuel Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alfred Alessi.
And your second host, Matt Tag.
The second host. I think you're the first host.
Oh.
Anyway, man, we're back here with part 2 with Eddie Gomez Del Casale. We had to cut it up because we were going a little long last time, and we just want people to be able to digest this information in a time frame that works. So we got a lot more to talk about. It's been a great conversation. Good to see you, brother. You're going to be training. You're training for a I feel like I just had to duck under that one. You're training for a bodybuilding show.
Correct.
You were telling me about that. So we were kind of in the recovery room the other day, did some sauna and some cold plunge, kind of getting your body back. There's a story behind it too. Something with your grandpa, right?
There's a story, yes.
Tell the story, bro.
Oof. All right, let's go.
If you want to, if you no
Yeah, of
pressure,
course,
dude. No
man.
pressure.
I think
I just know you're open.
people relate with the stories, and it helps people to keep conquering life. So I don't mind to share mine, man. But yeah, I was traveling the whole U.S. I was in Las Vegas. I get a call from my dad, every other day, but it was a little bit late at night. He's like, "Hey, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, get ready." I was like, "For what?" I was like, "You're gonna say bye to your grandpa for the last time." I was like, "Wait, what? What's going on? Like, what's happening?" I just talked to him, one more time. His lungs stopped working. One of his dreams was to see me play professional basketball back home. Due to my injury, I could never fulfill that dream of him. And he wanted to smoke a cigar on the stands. That was his dream. I was like, and since growing up, he would come to me like, "Eddie, you're the favorite one. You're the chosen one in the family. You're gonna go play pro."
That's pressure.
Smoke a cigar. I cannot wait. Every single every time I would see him. How was the game? Oh, I scored this many points. Yes, you're the chosen one. You're gonna make it. I loved him, man. I was like, "Can you wait for me? Like, I'll take the first flight." I was like, "I'm not gonna make it." I was like, "What do you mean you're not gonna make it?" And this was very hard for me, man. I had to miss. The whole family was there. I was the only one missing it. I was like, "Listen, I promise you this. First of all, you have to promise me you're gonna be very close to me. Like, no matter what. Like, you're gonna show me signs that you are around. Second, I'm gonna prepare for my first bodybuilding competition ever, and we're gonna win together. And when I win, I'm gonna smoke a cigar on a stage with the medal for you."
That's cool. Okay.
I didn't know what I was signing up for, man.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Coming back from my surgery, 180 pounds. Right now, by Monday, I have to be at 220. I'm at 219 right now. And the goal is to go all the way to 235 by the end of May, first week of June.
Okay.
And from there, start to cut down. I'm actually doing a very clean bulk, which I'm good. It will take me not a lot to get back there.
Yeah.
I've been dialing, working out for a whole year now, post-surgery, after I did this promise.
Yeah.
And it has been good. I love it because, it's not any other different than my previous life because I love to work out, but, dieting.
Maybe the tracking of that stuff,
man,
a little bit more intense.
Every single day.
What are you tracking? Just everything?
Everything.
Yeah.
Every single macro that you might think. I'm taking every single vitamin that you might think. Obviously, I'm doing some digestive enzymes as well. I'm also pineapple, which helps you, to digest as well. Because I'm eating so much. I'm eating.
Your body's got to process all that.
4,800 calories to 5,000 calories a day.
Okay.
Which is a lot, if you know.
That'll put on mass, yeah.
So it's just that, man. Bit by bit, training and with a mission, man. Like, and I have to do it. I have to do it because if I don't, I'm gonna be,
So that's that driving factor. That's what we talk about in our coaching program is like the why. Every week we do a coaching call and we talk to these guys. We're like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And it pounds it in their head that like, I signed up for this because I'm fat and my wife isn't attracted to me anymore. Like when you have to say that over and over, bro, like that like is motivating, you know what I mean? And so it's like it'll keep you grounded and to like why you signed up. So like having that connection with your grandpa, man, and like the fuel, right? That's the fuel for the fire.
And it's funny because some days I don't feel like going to the gym, and I go, you know, like I mean, I'm tired, and some days lifting, I'm like, how the heck did I lift that?
Yeah.
Like and I know why. You know, he's lifting with me, and I can feel it. You know, and some days when the Beach Boys comes, you know, his voice comes. You know, like the chosen one.
Kind of counters
it. You're gonna win. You know, and I love that, man. That's why on the previous episode that we recorded, when we talked about you talking, praying with your kids, it's so important because they're always observing. They're always gonna remember little things like you. What you think that they're not gonna remember, they're gonna remember, you know, and it's so important because right now that's my fuel, you know, and it's what's making me better, you know. So and completely natural. I'm not taking any extras, which makes it a little bit harder.
So is the competition? It's a natural competition, then I'm guessing. 'Cause there's two different like realms of bodybuilding. Like,
so I'm trying to see how I am by July.
Yeah.
The one that I wanna do, which is the one in Houston, Texas, from shredding, which is by Alpha Elite.
Okay.
It's actually not natural.
Yeah.
know?
Well, so you're going to be competing with guys who are on PEDs.
So I'm going to see how that turns. Probably, I think we all know that I'm going to have to choose a natural one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I would think so, yeah.
I'm loving the process, man. You know.
For sure. Cool, man. That's what it is. You said something about, like, not feeling like going to the gym. And what did, I'm pretty sure Chris Cavallini was the one who said it. He was like, fuck your feelings. Yeah. He was like, you don't feel like going to the gym? Fuck your feelings, go to the gym.
Do it.
Or you feel like you're a little sad and you want to eat that donut. It's like, no, like fuck those feelings. Like if the reason you're doing a behavior is because of a feeling, like an emotional like response, it's like check that and like really like find out what that is. Does this serve me, right? Does me like feeling a little stressed from my day, so I'm justifying going and getting a milkshake serve my long-term goals? Hell no. That stuck with me, man. And it's like, I also like those, like when he says it in a hard way.
It's also the dynamic of the feeling you're chasing too, because it's like that feeling you're chasing. Well, if I don't do this, I'm not going to get that feeling, right? So you always go through the temperature check of like the current feeling versus the feeling that you're going to, right? And there's always a feeling when you post workout, right? There's like, man, I'm glad I did that, right?
Always, every time.
Always, every time. It's one of those things where the feeling that you're chasing is... Because it's not... You know, Ed Milet was talking about this the other day. When you want to get shredded and you just want to get, like, all bulked up, it's not the fact that you're, like, you want to get shredded and all bulked up. You want the feeling of what that gives you is what it is. Yeah. So you are chasing a feeling regardless. Like, I want to stay in top shape because of the feeling that it gives me. Yeah. I don't want to go back to the scenario where I felt like I'm very metabolically inflexible and not good at all. Mm-hmm. Whereas like now I feel very metabolically flexible, right? That gives me a certain feeling.
That's right.
And so I'm chasing that feeling every day. There's days for sure I don't want to work out. There's days also that I don't want to put my kids to bed. But like the reality is if I know that imprinting happens, like it's all the dedication and the consistency. It's the consistency in everything that we do that really compounds. You know what resonates a little bit too, or a lot, is your story of like your grandfather. I had a grandmother that like always, it was the same way with me. Yeah. For basketball, like she just wanted me to like go places. And it didn't work out. Like I wish I like performed at a higher level. I didn't. But the reality is that can take one of two directions then. I can sit with the mentality of like, man, I didn't make it. I can become a victim of that lifestyle. Or I can be like, man, that's just going to make me better. Like, I'm going to go attack today. I'm going to go attack today in her name. Like, I was super close to her, and she was like really impactful in my life. But that's where she wouldn't want me because I didn't play basketball at a super high level, where like she wouldn't want that to be the dictation of the story of my life. She's like, no, just go attack something else. Go get it. That's what it's and all. So you just got to go attack life. Like I do that with my businesses and how I approach each day. Like how are we improving? How are we getting better for that day? And we go back to that element we were talking about earlier of just like presence. and how like presence is the major impact of where you can improve like that.
Yeah.
How can I make those incremental shifts about the daily habit structures that I put in, reading, connecting with one another, making the paellas for an apartment complex. How can I connect? Like those are really cool things. But like if you didn't do that, like, you know, how many more people? It's like Ed Milet's book, The Power of One More, right? It's that one person that ultimately could level it up and change the direction of your life. So it's cool.
I also think it's like, and it's the same in business. We were talking about this as we're growing like multiple businesses, but to get that desired result, that's the sexy, cool thing that you're trying to go for. It takes the daily, mundane, monotonous grind that kind of sucks sometimes. You're like, man, like it's the same. Today's the same. I'm doing the same thing. But if you can pound that, man, and just do it every single day, kind of get past that, on the end is where that result comes, you know?
It's called the compound effect. Is that what it is? You know, block with block.
That's right. One brick at a time. You say that all the time.
You know?
Yeah, it's brick by brick.
Brick by brick. That's right.
That's how Rome was built, right?
That's how Rome was built.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Eat the elephant, right?
There's a pastor in Oklahoma City, Craig Rochelle, great, like phenomenal author, high level mindset coach.
Leadership.
But Craig Rochelle talks a lot about the element of doing things consistently. What other people doing things, what other people do sometimes, you do consistently, right? And so like, or what others do occasionally, you do consistently.
There you go.
That's really what the change is that you're willing to do that consistently versus other people are like, oh, I'm going to hop into this. And one of our optimizers said that the other day. It's like in fitness, people are always falling off, right? Like, oh, I'm going to do it for like a couple months. I'm going to get it. But it's literally a way of life. You have to choose your health. You have to, that's a conscious choice that you make every day, that I am choosing my health and that I am not going to be occasional with my health. That's why, like, there was even somebody that said, like, oh, they were talking, I was talking to them or something about the nutritious product or whatever. And they're like, yeah, I'm just not into working out. Like, I like, oh, so you aren't choosing your health? Like, you aren't, like, I don't
So what are you into?
Like,
being
so what
fat muffin top?
you buff it down. So, but, I mean, that's the reality is that, and it's like, it's that choice then is the brick by brick. That's how you're building Rome, right? Your body is Rome. It's a lifestyle. Yeah. I was even talking about this too, is the element of whether we like it or not, we are a brand. Like I am a brand. I am my own brand. I am branding myself, right? So how I interpret you and I interpret you is how you hold yourself, right? And so you are that brand. Like whether you like it or not, like you are a brand. Like I'm marketing myself to somebody every day. And so if I'm not branding myself in the way that like I want to project onto somebody else, if I don't have even like my confidence is derived of how I hold my body. Everything goes back to like how I am branding myself. Yeah. So if you see a guy that is just like absolutely floppy, he's overworked, he just looks tired, right? And he might be successful in his business, but he just looks freaking tired, right? That's a brand. Yeah. He's projecting a brand where you're like, man, but you walk into a room and you're holding yourself, you're like, dude, dude, he's fit. He works out, like, dude, he holds himself to another standard. He's willing to shake your hand, look you in the eyes. It's a brand.
Yeah, when you get a nice strong handshake too, right? Yeah. Versus like a weak little like sweaty hand. Like you're like
dead fish.
Yeah, dead fish, sweaty hand. I'm like instantly like there's just like I hate to say it, you're not judging them, but you're forming opinions, bro. Like yeah, it's like holding yourself to that.
That is like the worst too. Yeah, like the dead fish hand. Yeah. I'm like, what do I do with this? Like,
what do I do with it? Get rid of it. That's funny shit.
I heard that one. I was like,
the dead fish hand. Yeah, it comes in, especially a man. But I'm even training my daughters that another like we mentioned Ed Milet earlier. So something was brought up where like how you're training your kids. Yeah. And like, why is it, that you wait maybe, if anyone does, to train your kids at 12 and 13 how to like have a handshake? And so one thing that I'm doing with my girls
kids are
right
3,
now,
and I teach them that,
is like when they see somebody and they're like Mr. Gomez Del Casale. Casale.
We're getting better.
I'm getting a little bit better. But like coming in and being like, good to see you today. And they're like 7 years old. And they're like, who are your parents? Like they're coming in, shaking your hand. Hey,
because that's abnormal.
Yeah.
It's like,
for a 7-year-old to come in.
Yeah.
And so
good.
I want to start like training them to be, I already told them, like we were walking the other day. I was like, make sure you make eye contact with that woman and say hi. And so we were walking. She's one of our neighbors and we see her all the time. And I'm like, hi. I want to make eye contact with people. How you doing today?
Yeah.
Because I want to project. I'm pushing off my brand, right? I want to project that a smile is maybe going to change their day, right? Hey, how you doing today?
100%.
And so that's what I like doing on the walk, just making sure, my wife's not like that. She's like, you say hi to everybody, but I'm like, hi, and I'm picking up trash and like along the way. But like, I want that to be a projection of the brand that I'm putting out every single day. Now with my kids, that imprinting we were talking about, how are they going up at 7 years old? And they're so confident that, hey, Mr. Alessi, good to see you today, and shaking your hand and like with a smile. And then you're like, dude, a 6 and 7 year old.
I hope they never call me Mr. Alessi though.
That's the brand. That's the tag brand, right?
It's important.
So it's an important thing to look at as far as like persona in our brand.
And they see that like they see it too. So like as much as you got to teach them that, they'll see you do it.
Right.
Like my kids, I haven't ever taught them like go say hi to people. We go to this juice shop and they hugged everyone in there. Bunch of strangers. They just run up and they're the cutest little kids ever. So everyone's like, "Oh my god!" But they hug like 10 different people. They go by, like to the counter and they're like saying hi to the people who work there. And it's because I do that. Like I'm always like, "Hey, how are you today?" Just the other day, I was at the DMV, the downtown Tampa one, and you have to go up an elevator. It's like a 20-story elevator ride. So it's a good long ride. And there's 2 women in there. And it was like that quiet, stuffy, weird elevator. And I was just like, hey, what was the best part of your day? And they both were like they were shook. They were so confused that I spoke in the elevator. Like that's like you're not supposed to talk, right? And everyone's just all quiet, like in their corner. And everyone's like, oh, finally got some stuff taken care of. And I was like, hey, that's fantastic. I'm happy for you, I love being different, like being in a good way. Not like being weird or crazy or anything like that, but like standing apart, you know what I mean? From what everyone else is doing, just run-of-the-mill sheep, That
just reminded me of like when you're out to a restaurant, there's so many servers that come over your table, you never know their name, right?
Yeah.
But asking their name, right? Hey, what's your name? Yeah. How you doing today? Yeah. Like, how's your day been going? Like those things like make a really strong impact on somebody else when you like ask their name. Like when you know somebody's name and you're like, you can say, and then you can articulate that back to them. Good seeing you today, Eddie. Instead of just good seeing you today.
Yeah. Oh, it hits
good
different.
Seeing you today, Eddie.
By the name.
Really good seeing you today.
For sure.
Makes that like that your Eddie's your name, right? That's your brand. Mm-hmm. And so I want to know like how that makes you feel, and it always makes you feel. You're like, you say, good seeing you today, Matt. Right? You're like, thanks. Like, yeah, hearing your name is one of the most powerful things.
Makes people happy also.
Yeah.
I always say this, and it goes along with everything now with the elevator, because I'm sure that you actually made their day better by asking them that, because it's a reminder.
Yeah, possibly.
You have always superpower that is lifting people up. Why don't you use it? You're just one action away from lifting people up. Imagine that I come here and we just talk. But imagine that I come out like, dude, you look built. Like, you actually did. Like, that beard is looking so much better.
Thank you.
Like, trim, I like it, Like, come on, keep it up. That feeling off, it helps so many people. And I love that. People that are like that, that's the people that I want to associate myself with. Like, people that they are all about lifting others, because that's how you keep climbing mountains, So
that's why we connected so well. We just met you on the Riverwalk, and we just we're like, hey, what are you doing? And you were like walking. We're like, you're obviously exercising. You're pretty jacked. Like, let's chat. We start talking. But it's what it's all about, man. Is like we're all in this together. We're all on this earth.
Again, what I said in other episode, people at the top collaborate, at the bottom compete.
Yeah.
The more you collaborate, the more you're gonna have. And
abundance.
It's not even like about wasting your time. It's about actually like putting it out there. Like nobody knows you. Think about this. Nobody knows you. Think about how many people in this world there is. Nobody knows you. Start to collaborating. Start stretching hands. Start to make people say better, and that's like you'll make it. That's exactly what my mentor told me one time.
Yeah.
And it works. It's amazing. Another thing that I wanted to mention, something that you guys talked about your clients, like, I don't feel like it going to the gym. I always thought this. Imagine telling your kids that you quit because it was hard. That's one of the most crazy things that you can tell. And that's something that my dad always told me. Like, don't think about today. Think about the future when you have kids. And they're going to ask you questions like you asked me. You want to tell them that you quit because it was hard? Or you want to tell them that, like, you succeed because you put in the work against adversity? So I think that's huge, man. I think that's huge.
Yeah, it's like legacy kind of building right there. Yeah, for sure.
What was one of so you had mentioned you had a mentor. What is one? It was a coach you had kind of along the way that you resonated with. What is I think mentorship is like extremely critical to rely on people and ask them questions. Who is your mentor maybe now, and then did you have mentors growing up?
The one that I'm sick to be is my dad. Like, I want to be like him. I've never met such an amazing man like him ever, and if you meet him, I mean, you'll understand it. That's my main mentor, but then as I went through high school, elementary, my teachers were my mentors. They were educating me, they were helping me. Then I went to church, my priests were my mentors, then I went and I had friends that they were actually mentoring me in different things. So there's not like such a thing like, wow, like I had this person impacting. I think that you have to pick and choose from different people, and I always try to have this. Even right now in my life, I try to have people in the realm of fitness, faith, family, finances, business, and I try to pick and choose from all of them, so that's why. Yeah, that's what I try to do.
That's smart. Yeah, that's just like me. I feel like I have coaches for everything.
Yeah,
I have a lot of coaches.
And the cool thing though is, like, technically, like, you read a book by someone who's like very profound and you get something out of that book. That's like a mentor. 100%. That person just happens to mentor thousands of people who read their book, but like you can look at it like that,
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. I think that, not all the time are you going to get direct access to John Maxwell, but John Maxwell has made a major impact in my life. Yeah. Just by reading his books and listening to some podcasts. And Tony Robbins the same way, right?
He's awesome.
Tony Robbins has made a major impact, and it's, you're not maybe going to be directly, but he absolutely is mentoring people from afar. Yeah. So I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Think about this. Our bodies are like a computer, like a huge database, and you're gonna remember things that goes within your personality that projects you to your purpose in life. I mean, I'm a faith-based man, and I truly know that we're here all for a mission. We're a piece of a puzzle, and I truly believe that people comes into your life for you to learn at least one word, one sentence that is gonna help you to connect with the next person, to impact somebody else, to give you the next opportunity in life, something along those lines, And I think that's huge. Like, you're not supposed to memorize word by word from everybody or learn like, oh my gosh, I want to live like him, I want to be like him. Like those people that they are wearing like, like athletes jerseys and they try to be that person, I'm like, dude, you are not him, like you're you.
Yeah.
So
be the best you. If you want to hear your question answered live on the show, submit it to ask@fullfuel.com. Check out the Optimizers program where we build max muscle, improve longevity, and get guys freaking shredded so that they can crush it at life for as long as possible.
Live full fueled. Live beyond limits, baby. I heard this thing from John Maxwell that I thought was really cool that goes right along line with that. But like, John Maxwell, I think he said it, and then Ed Milet said it too at one point, but then he gave context around it. But comparison is the thief of joy.
I love that one.
And so he said that, so John Maxwell, he's like, but comparison is good. And so I was like, oh man, I want to dig more into this. And so he was, he bled through it a little bit, and he said, comparison set your standard, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you can compare, you can set then a standard, and that's how you elevate, right? So you need to compare, but you also need to understand like where you're at, right? And then the building blocks, be realistic as far as how you're going to build the building blocks. But like going after having a clear understanding of like, that's where I want to head. Although it's going to look a little bit different because it's me, right? So comparison doesn't need to take away from the joy. It's actually, there's a healthy form of comparison. And then what many people associate comparison to now is our social comparison of like, I need those things, but I don't want to work to get those things like he has those things, right? And so we were just talking about our social influence today. And I was like, it's not that I'm trying to compare, because we were coming up with social strategy. And it's like, I'm not trying to compare ourselves to that person, but I was like, just the way he demonstrates his messaging, how can we get a little bit better
for sure
in our messaging to grow and to reach more people? And that's where the healthy comparison comes in, rather than the scrolling comparison of like, I'm not going to do the work to get to that point. I just want to take away that joy, because there's so much in that time, even when I was even struggling with depression and you, is that it is an element of comparison. Then it's like, man, how am I even going to find my way out of this? Like, all these people have this stuff. I don't have it. Yeah. So what's it even worth? When true joy lies within, like, I even tried to change my mentality this year of like, when people ask me how I'm doing, I hate when people like say like this and I felt like I was like that sometimes. It depended on the day where I was like, yeah, I'm doing all right. Like, a couple things hit me, but like, if we could find the joy, and I'm walking and I'm breathing, man.
I'm blessed every day. Yeah.
I am walking and I'm breathing. I am blessed.
And that's huge, because if you ask 2 questions to people, what makes you happy, and tell me something good that has happened today to you. It takes seconds for them to think about it. Like, let me think.
I woke up this morning.
Yeah, that easy. I woke up, man.
I woke up.
I have breakfast.
I started walking.
Yeah.
All this stuff. But
I live in a house, right? Like,
It's huge.
Like, that's gratitude, man. Gratitude is like probably one of the things that changed my perspective on everything. It's like
it's energy too,
Yeah, because you can wake up stressed. Oh, I got all this stuff to do. But if you wake up and the first thing you think about is like, man, I'm not sleeping under a bridge. Like, I am not sleeping on the street. I have a house that I live in that is air conditioning, right? Like, I am blessed more than a huge amount of people on this planet. You know what I mean? Stuff that we take for granted. So, like, just, like, coming back down to earth on that, man. It's
Many
huge.
things, man.
Yeah.
Even when you go to the restroom, you're doing your things on clear water. Like,
yeah.
Many people, it's like...
Yeah, you can open the tap and water comes out, man.
Exactly,
yeah.
man. That's huge, so...
Yeah,
gotta remember
it's that outlook. It's that going the go-giver mentality of like that level of gratitude. Like the more you can see of how much abundance you do have, the more you can give that to other people. But if you can't see the abundance, you can't give that to other people, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So.
And like, speaking of like influence and stuff, man, just speak a little bit about like your coaching and your approach, right? Like
coaching.
Yeah.
Okay. Think about giving. That's where the internal message is. That's my core. Like, if it's gonna help your life, I'll give it to you. Now coaching, how does it work? So like you mentioned last episode, I work with athletes and CEOs. Okay. There's different dynamics from CEOs with athletes, because athletes, I'm coming already into an organization with an structure, and I'm just like a tool out of an umbrella, so that's actually very easy, like that's you get into it, you meet with everybody, you understand your role, and once you're in, you design a diet and nutrition plan that is going to work for the athlete to be at optimum performance throughout the season, preseason, playoffs, even Super Bowl. Like that's how calculate it is. With some players you work directly with other higher end players that I am with. You consult with them, they approve, they commit, and this is something that I always do. I sign contracts with every single client that I have, and it's not like a contract with liabilities which we sign at the beginning. It's also a contract between you and I.
Yeah,
we're a team.
You're doing
these are your standards, these are my standards, this is what I'm gonna put, this is what you're gonna give me. And then once that happens, if I work straight with the athlete, we do it. If not, I talk to their chef, and that's how we do it. And if they have a chef, I bring that contract with the chef as well. This is the standards. I need you to stay committed to this, and that.
Right.
CEOs, high achievers, because it's not only CEOs, it's also high achievers, people who wants to actually try to become the best version of themselves. You know, it's more like understanding. You know, I have 6 pillars, you know, like I'm sure that you guys also have, which I know. It basically is more like, yes, nutrition and fitness coaching, but also with life coaching oriented.
That's
you know,
right.
Where,
Yeah.
Because I truly believe that if one fails,
Yeah.
the other ones are going to start to.
What things could be sabotaging other stuff
Exactly.
if they're not in
You
place,
know,
for sure.
You can be super successful at business, but your family is failing or is hurting. You know,
Right.
You can be ripped, but you're actually not putting time into, you know, something else.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's basically
Balance, for
what
sure.
it is.
Cool.
The question that you made me, what it is, I just want to give who you want to be. I want to be the person that I needed when I was at the lowest point of my life. That's what I
Love
strive
that.
every day. And that's it, to be honest.
That's
Very
awesome,
simple.
man. Yeah. And again, because like there are people out there who are struggling like you went through, right?
Everybody.
And so like if you can teach
You know.
and help them get through that, you know, who
You know.
better, right, than someone who's been through it.
And sometimes are the happiest people. You know,
Yeah.
when I went through depression, I was happy. If I look at pictures, you know, people will tell me, "Man, you look good." You don't even realize what I was thinking. You know, and everybody. This is 100% size, whatever you want. Everybody's gonna have a lower point in the life. You know, everybody, and the highest point as well. But you know, just like Ricky Rubio, you guys know Ricky Rubio.
Yeah.
You know, he's
Like for the Timberwolves, right?
Yeah. Spanish professional player basketball. He has a tattoo and a saying that he says, "Not too high, not too low." You know, boom. And I love that.
That's cool.
You know, because never too high, never too low. Just stay there.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, man.
That's awesome, man. I love that approach. I mean, what are your 6 pillars, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, family, faith, finances, nutrition, fitness, and the last one is more like lifestyle. Let's say that way.
Okay.
You know,
Very,
so
very similar to what we
which
got.
it could alter as well. You know, so
Cool.
depending the people that is around the activities that you do, you know, they are also gonna affect. You know, so it's just pillars. You know, at the end of the day, everybody will have the same. You know, some people
You have to.
some people doesn't have faith.
Yeah.
But you know, they have something else, and it's just like make sure that what you have in life, you are actually doing this. And if you have, do we have time? Yeah. Do you have another pen?
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
Dude, we can do it. One of you do it. We can do it.
Take it through it. Let's go.
And I encourage the audience, even you guys with your athletes, do it. I do it every time that I speak on a stage with people. So put family.
Let's go.
Okay. Faith. Finances.
Okay.
Nutrition. Fitness. Okay. And focus. Focus is like life. Okay.
Yeah.
Like let's
go.
say. Okay. You're gonna rate yourself from 0 to 10 on each one. How well are you doing with your family? You know,
0 to 10, 10 being high.
10 is the max, 0 is the lowest. You know, I'm
7.
showing up for my family. You know, okay.
Faith, full transparency, man. I need to be better about, you know, praying to God and trusting. Yeah.
Okay.
Finances,
Okay.
nutrition. It's pretty dialed in. You know, I have cheat meals. I ate lasagna on Easter. Fitness, dude. I'm on it right now. 9, and then my focus. Let's put a 6, dude.
7,
So I'm
5,
easy
9,
distractible
6.
for sure.
Okay, so we get a total of
38 out of 60 is where I'm at.
38. So add it. Put
Okay.
38. Okay. So
Just a quick subjective
we're
kind of.
gonna go 38. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. If you don't believe in faith, you can do 5. Okay. So we're gonna divide it by 6. Okay. It gives us 6.3. Write it down. Times 10.
Yeah, 63.
Okay. 63.3. That's the percentage that you're operating on your life right now.
Yeah, that's
You know?
right.
So now,
And that's eye opening because, like,
you know, it's such an
for
eye
sure.
opening. So
Yeah.
that's the first thing that I do with all my clients. You know, like boom.
yeah,
That's what I do. And it's not like a secret. I want everybody to do this because the first time that I did it with me, it was 32%. You know, and now having numbers, life is data. It's just like your body operates as well.
for sure.
So if you have this, now it's like, okay, what am I missing? What do I need to do? Boom,
Yeah,
10.
yeah.
You know, and you're never gonna be 100%. I'll tell you that.
Right.
But you can be close to
Yeah.
high 90s. You know, and that's when you're gonna get the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love that, man.
it's gonna-
So we have a similar thing. We have 6 pillars that we operate by. We created a cool like kind of diagram, but fuel, movement, sleep. They're a little bit more like physical based on the front end. Fuel, movement, sleep, mind,
I love
and
that.
then work and spirit. And so like we always talk about that's how you live full fueled. You said the word fulfilled, and like it sounds like full fueled. That's kind of where the name came from. It's like how do I live a full fueled life, right? Where like I'm operating and I'm dialed in. What does that mean to you, man? Being full fueled.
Full fueled. I think that taking care of every pillar of life that is moving you forward towards your mission and vision. I think that's what it is, you know. Fulfillment, you know. Happy. Makes me happy to be here. Does it fulfills me? Yes, because it goes towards my mission.
Right.
You know. I'm happy. I could be happy at the bar, you know, getting drunk with my friends. I could.
Yeah.
Does it make me happy? Of course.
Happy.
Does it fulfills me?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, because it doesn't go towards my standards and vision.
I love that.
So,
yeah. Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Tell, do you have any other questions you want to ask me?
No, man, that was
was
great.
gonna say-
This has been a great podcast, man. A
Tell-
lot of great content.
Tell people where they can get
stories.
your book. So-
Amazon.
Amazon?
Amazon, Live Relentless, The Relentless Pursuit, The Journey to Greatness.
Okay. We'll link it, obviously. And
on
then
my Instagram as well, I have the link.
where can they find you on Instagram? What's your Insta name?
Eddie Gomez 10, EDYGOMEZ 10.
Got it. Perfect, man.
And we'll put that in the show notes and make sure that people follow you
Yeah,
and
man.
buy his
Yeah.
book, man. I'm going to be
Awesome.
reading this
Yeah.
book.
Me too.
Probably in
Yeah.
Spanish.
Ooh, I need a little more.
I'll never
time.
finish. Yeah. Awesome.
So
man.
thanks for coming on
Bro,
the show today,
thank
Eddie,
you
man.
so
It's
much,
been
man.
such a
Love you,
pleasure.
brother. Yes,
I
sir.
love your
Thank you.
story and
Thank you.
love where God's taking you, man.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
We all have a mission. Well, that's it for Full Fuel. Live Beyond Limits, baby.